Hello everyone. Today we're going to finally put some things together that you've been building if you've been following this series on the Asian teapot. We're going to start putting some of the pieces together today. And here is one example of a little Asian teapot, and I'm going to be talking to you about the pros and cons of different aspects. This is a traditional, I guess you'd call it a Western style teapot. It has a similar lid with a little throat that goes down in there. And it has a hole in it, in the lid, right there by my thumb. And then there are some goblets, and I thought you might be interested in seeing a little one of those little eye washer things that's glazed. These are so, well, I can't hold it and show it to you because my thumbs are so big. So there's a cute little eye washer. It's very functional. I keep it in the windowsill in the kitchen and use it. Here are a couple of other teapots that are in the style that we're going to be talking about. We're going to have a side handle and a couple of different kinds of spouts. Can have different kinds of lids. This lid just has a bulb on it because of the height of the teapot and the size of the opening. There's no reason to have a great big throat. This is a teapot right here. This one is a student's work, and I'm going to show you a couple of things about that. One is the way the lid is made. It has a little catch on it. I don't know if you can see that, because this teapot is so shallow that you have to have something to catch it right there if you can't keep your thumb on the lid. Even if it's turned around this way, the little tongue thing is over here and it slides right off. So you have to, this is a dangerous teapot to begin with. Well, I'll just tell you, the water level on a teapot like this can only be right about there to be safe. So as you can see, if you had much more water in it than that, than up to about here, it would come out the spout, because the spout is too low. The spout is put on upside down. It should be, the end of it should be up a little higher. But it's cute. It makes a nice little Aladdin lamp looking thing. But one thing you cannot do with this is drain it very easily, because it doesn't, well, it doesn't rest well. You know, it rocks, and before long, if you use this, you would break off or chip the spout and probably do some damage to this handle since it sticks up so far. I don't know how long a lid like that would last if you used this kind of a teapot. Here is one that has a few good things about it. One thing is, I guess I'm going to have to hold the camera. The handle, if a teapot is well balanced, one of these little guys, it will sit on the counter like that. And that way, this spout will drain. All you have to do is wash a little bit of water, or dry a little bit of water out of there. But one thing that's good about this teapot is that you can fill that sucker up. I mean, you can oops, you can put water right up to here if you want to, because that is level. And I think that's kind of important because these things are traditionally not very big, and this one also drains well. It sits well on it, doesn't rock too badly back and forth, but it sits well when you're draining it. I love this little teapot. The glaze on it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, so I've just kept it around, and I really do enjoy using this because of the size and shape of it. I showed you the lid. And that sits perfectly straight, so you don't have any worries about hurting it when you're putting it on the drain board, because it upside down, it works real well. So you have to be conscious of and make sure that your spout isn't too tall or the wrong shape, and that your handle doesn't stick up above the rim of this thing. So you want an affair that looks pretty much like that, or close. I see there's a little airspace there, so this is a little taller, but it's close. So there's that. This one doesn't have a hole in the lid, but the lid doesn't fit tight enough for that to be a problem. And on this one, you can grab the handle and keep your thumb. The reason I like these so well, and I enjoy using them, is because you can manage them. They're just the right size. You can keep your thumb on that and you can pour like so. This one, an aesthetic choice was made, or I guess a design choice, whatever you want to call it, to keep this, to make this little spout stick up high. It can still drain like this. You can still use it like that. So it is possible to drain it. You just need to set it in a safe place. The spout is kind of beefy, so it's not likely to chip. And this teapot has been used quite a bit. Let's look at that little spout. I am getting a little bit of height difference on this. I can feel that, and if I was going to make this over, I'd probably reduce the edge of that, and using it will probably do that for me, because I'll probably chip it off eventually. So there's that. This one sits upside down just fine. No rocking. I think that spout is just on there pretty much exactly. So you can also, this one is well enough balanced that you could also drain it like that. This one has a hole in the throat part, but it doesn't go all the way through the top. So it just sits there like that. It's also pretty loose as far as that goes. Oh, let me show you the tools that I'm using. I went out to the studio and got an array of things. I have some sticks, some little popsicle sticks. I've got a knife. I've got a couple of trim tools. I may not use all of these things, but they're here if I need them. And I have my little scratchy tool. This is something we're going to use to attach things. Down here, I have a couple of plastic things to smooth out clay with. A needle tool with a hook on the other end. That's kind of, it's like a little spade on the other end. I have a dental tool. Let's see. This has a little crooked. This is great for getting glaze out of the holes of your strainer if that happens, or cleaning clay out of it because they're crooked. Okay, so I've got a needle tool. I've got this stick that's pointed at one end and it's just kind of flat to a chisel on the other end. Cotton pliers from a dental office. And this is a broken piece of Sureform. I didn't break it on purpose, it just happened. Anyway, it's handy. Traditional hole making tool, slanted piece of brass or copper or something, and so it's made to sort of dig into something. This I can use as a smoothing tool inside of a circle. A handy dandy brush for slip. And I brought in a couple of things that are just round because, and here's an old spool thing. I may need, and here's a candle, all of which I can use to estimate the size of a hole that I might want to make in the side of the teapot. And I brought my little soft rubber rib in here. I have two sponges. One is shaped so that I can stick the corner of it into small places, and then this is just a bigger sponge. Okay, I'm going to turn it, oh yeah. Here I've got some slip and goo from from outside, and I'm leaving it in my sink because I'm trying to keep the mess to a minimum. Okay, so if you have been following this series of videos on this Asian style teapot, you should have, if you've been making things, you should have some stuff that looks kind of like these things. This is a handle. These three things right here are spouts. This is a handle. These are our two strainers. And one of them is a little bit taller than the other one. No problem. And then these are also spouts. These are the little half circle, half round spouts. The Kung Fu spouts. The reason I showed you all of those other little teapots is so that, got the right one, is so that you could make decisions that are informed. So, and some of our decisions are informed by other people's mistakes. Like in that little Aladdin lamp, this one. Like in this little teapot. This is adorable, but it's a poorly done teapot if you're going to use it for tea. If you're going to rub it and expect a genie to appear, it's probably good, right? I've not tried that yet, but I might. Okay, so let's take this little guy. And the process that I go through when I am trying to decide which spout am I going to use. This is kind of a beefy spout, it feels like right now. This is kind of a short and squatty spout. Now remember that we're going to be cutting these. I'll hold something. We're probably going to be cutting these at an angle, something like this, and we'll cut that off and get rid of this part, and then this thing will sit on here like this. So I sometimes will hold it so that my view, so that I'm looking past this line of the teapot, and oh, that's really cute. This one, this short fat one might be the one for this, because this is kind of a short fat little guy. Let's see. And I do the same thing for the handle, in deciding which handle is going to be the best for that. Let's see what this looks like. So if I do this one for this and this one here, let me set those back there so that I can look at this one out here. Look, I'm a little partial to this handle for this one. Or do I need this? No, I think I need this longer hand. This is actually a bigger body than this one is, and so these two handles, one is a little taller than the other one. So this is, you can shape a handle. It's hollow, of course, and you can shape it anyway. These are great. These make good handles on just about anything that you're going to use that's going to hold something hot, because the hollowness, I don't know how to say that, the hollowness makes it easier to grab that without burning yourself, and so that's the reason they're hollow. Smart, huh? So I'm looking at this thinking, yeah, that's the one for that. And which, now look, maybe one of these will work. What if I have I like that. Maybe I should do that on, maybe I should do this on here. I like that too. Okay, so if I do that on there, then I'll have this one to put on here. So if this one's on here, that looks good. I like that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I promised to show you how to use this Kung Fu spout. And so I think I'm gonna put that one on there, like so. All right, so let's get busy. This is going to require the Sureform, because this is flat and this needs to be on a curved surface. So I'm going to curve this just a little bit by using this Sureform. Am I going the right way? No. It'd help if I use it in the right direction, right? Sometimes it's good to make a couple of spouts, even if you don't need them, or even, see, I put a little curve on that. Or a couple of handles, extra lids even, because stuff happens when you're making your teapots, and it's so much better to make it while you've got the thing to measure from. And that fits on there pretty good. We're going to conform that little guy to there. Now, if I can show you what we're going to do, we're going to make a hole in the side of this teapot and put one of these strainers in there. Let's see if I can shine a flashlight. I may have to get you down here. I'm going to shine a flashlight into this teapot and see if I can, if you can get a look at that little strainer that's in there. Now, that strainer right there is built into the side of the teapot. That one is not an extra piece. One of the reasons that I like this, let's see, I need a cameraman, don't I? One of the reasons that I like these little external, or these little extra built-in strainers, is because if you have that on the inside of your pot, let me use this for an example. This isn't a teapot, but you can see it better. If you put one of those strainers inside there and you get tea or a tea bag up against there, It's probably not going to block it off. In this one, it tends to get clogged with the tea bag. I'm thinking that this one is going to be better if we stick it in there like that. This is my first strainer, by the way, so you and I are experiencing something for the first time. Well, for me anyway. I can tell there are going to be a lot of edits on this video because it's hard to get this where you can see it and I can see it. Okay, what I'm trying to go for is to have the tip of this go right underneath this line right here, and I think I may have it. Once I sponge that off, I think we're going to be in good shape. I've trimmed this, and while you weren't looking, I held this up to here and traced a little line for placement. So this goes right up to this line, and it's going to fit on here. So now we have to put a hole right in here. Basically, I'm just going to wear this down and get through there. I'll use my needle tool, and I'll probably use this tool to smooth it out, but I'll bring you back as soon as I get it open. I think that's getting loose. Yay! So there we go. So here we go. We've got this thing open now. Once you put this in there, you're going to have a chance to maybe do a little straightening, sponging here. You might have a little bit here, but you're not, once you get the spout on, you can't go back and fix anything down here. So you have to be careful to make it clean, and it's going to fit right in there just like that. Just going to put some slip around here. Turn it right side up. Now once I put this on there, it's probably not going to come back off, so pardon me if my hand gets in the way or something. There. Okay. So I'm going to put that in there. Got it on the tips of my fingers. And there it is. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of slip. And push some in right there. And make sure that's I may have to make 2 videos out of this and do the Kung Fu spout first and then do the other spout. So I'm going to put some slip on this edge. And take my finger and smooth this out. Smooth this out. Any patching I want to do is going to be done on the outside. Okay, here's the moment of truth. I'm going to put that right before I stick it too hard. Whoops. Move that up into place. Do the same thing on this side. Make sure I don't have it too high. And press it on. There we go. Now, just push that down, push a little clay into that seam all the way around. Okay, there she is. This is the Kung Fu Spout. I've pressed a little bit of clay down onto the body and back and forth, and then sponged it. And I'll let this dry very, very slowly in order to watch for cracks. And I think it'll be good. So there's the inside of it. And I'll take a brush, a paintbrush, when it gets a little harder. I don't want to mess with it right now. I'll smooth out some of those little scratch marks and so forth. So the profile on this is a little different than on other teapots. The handle will fit on here, of course, with an angle cut off of it, and we'll do that as soon as this one is ready to be handled. And then on the next, whenever I show you that, I will also show you where the handle goes.